you all introduce yourself briefly as we go to the next, because it's also catching up with our time. So let's try to be as brief as possible.
Okay. I'm named Gwen Chol. I'm not a journalist, but I'm academic. I'm the student of University of Juba, the School of Applied and Industrial Science, Department of Biochemistry. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. I also expect to learn a lot from you as we take this training in these 3 months. Cariso William Lonia, you are next.
Yeah, thank you. Are you getting me, guys?
Yes, we can
Well,
get you.
I'm Dr. William Lonya, currently working with the Singaita FM, the radio community, as news and program editor, and at the same time, station manager, all the way from Woody County, Eastern Equatorial State.
Well, you're most welcome, William. We go to Orayo Gabriel. Orayo Gabriel.
Yes, are you getting me, please?
Yes, we are getting you now. Continue.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to see you once again. I'm Orayo Gabriel, aka Ibrahim, aka Osemo. These are all my names. I has been a journalist for #1 Citizen daily newspaper, and I'm currently volunteering for 2 national NGOs as a social media manager. Thank you. I think that's a little about me.
Oh, you're most welcome. We're excited to have you
Thank
on
you.
board. Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Continue to we continue to interact through the 3 months as we shall be working together.
It's a pleasure for me to be part of this program. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're most welcome. Port Panyuan, you're next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Port Panyuan. I'm joining the meeting from Unity State. I'm a contact person for Kondial FM. And I'm happy to be part of this fellowship. Thank you. Over to you. Was I audible, really? Hello?
Hello?
Am I audible?
Yeah, we have heard you. You're
Okay,
most
thank you.
welcome you're most welcome, and we hope to interact a lot and learn from each other as the training goes on. By the time it's done, shall have learned a lot from each other. So for the remaining members, due to time, you can introduce yourself in the chat box. As the training continues, we shall learn to know each other during the course of the time. Yeah, for now, let's welcome Bida to give opening remarks as the training starts officially. Manuel, you're most welcome.
that each and every one of you has put into this program. So to start with it, this mentorship session is, of course, a partnership between IREX. So IREX is an organization that is implementing a project named the Sustainable Independent Media Activity. So in this project, there are a lot of organizations working, including AMDIS, which is the Association for Media Development in South Sudan. We also have iRadio, which is iMedia. We have the radio community. We have a BA radio service where Chola is from. And then we have also other organizations that are taking part. Even that radio station in Wow, Hope, Voice of Hope. They're all part of this project activity. So our focus in this specific project will be building the capacity of journalists and civic actors on disinformation and misinformation, election fact-checking, as well as how you as content creators can produce gender transformative content. So we have a lot of expectations. One, we expect that all of you are able to attend the sessions, and we will do this by making sure that there's a regular attendance list that will be shared. So for instance, today we'll share with you a session that you will later sign. Another thing is we expected that all of you are able to put these new skills into practice, and also we see that you are able to educate others on some of the aspects that you have learned, as well as produce content around the training topics. So this is a very huge expectation. So this means that we expect a lot from you, and then you will also expect a couple of things from us. So from us, you will basically expect that we have trainers who are going to deliver sort of very engaging content, and you also see that these resources or materials are shared with you, and so on and so forth. So it is not going to be only online. Like we communicated earlier, there are some aspects of this training that will be physical. So we are likely to have a physical training with the participants in this training from WOW. We'll also have a physical meeting with the participants from this training from Capoeira, and also other locations. We are also considering having a physical meeting with the participants in Juba. So we'll keep you posted on how these arrangements go, but most likely the physical sessions will be from mid-July. So the physical sessions will not be as intensive as the online sessions, because the online sessions we handle topic by topic, and then with the physical trainings we'll have to see how we can condense some of the important aspects of the training into an 8-hour session. So so this is how the whole program runs. And then in terms of logistics, we communicated earlier that we are going to do data reimbursements for each participant. And this data reimbursement will only be based on attendance. So this means that if you attend regularly, you will get your data reimbursement for all the sessions. But then if you do not attend regularly, then you will not get data reimbursement for the sessions that you will miss. And then another thing is that with the online meeting, we advise that you need to buy, if you're using MTN or Zain. MTN and Zain both have hourly bundles. So the cheapest way to attend this training is to be able to subscribe to these hourly bundles for those of you who do not have access to Wi-Fi connection. So you need to buy data for 5 hours, 1 GB. 1 GB is enough. For Zain, it is 970 SSP, And then for M10, it is 1,030 Chinese pounds. So this is reasonable charge, and that 1 GB can allow you fully attend the session. So this is very important. And then with the physical trainings, of course, we will have a meeting and we will have some sort of refreshment. We will have practical exercises and so forth. So this is with regards to the logistics about the training, the overview, and the expectations, what you will expect from us and what we expect from you, and also about the organizers and most of this general information. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand or you can write your question in the chat box, and then I will be able to answer your questions. You can raise your hand. There's a raise hand feature on Zoom, and then you can ask your question in case I haven't answered it. And then for the purpose of your network bandwidth, I would advise that you turn off your videos, make sure that your videos are turned off so that you preserve your data quality and stuff like that. Yeah, any questions? If you have questions, you can ask. If there are no questions, I will give the opportunity to one. I see we have one of our trainers on board. Ochaya, are you getting me?
Yes, can you get me, please? Or is the chance for Mr. Oshaya?
Yes, please. If you have a question, you first raise your hand. Raise your hand, and then you can
sorry.
ask. Ochaya, are you getting me? Yes, Ochaya, are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you, Bida. I think I don't have much to say. Yes, I'm getting you. Are you getting me?
Okay. Great.
Are you getting me, Bida?
Yes.
I think good afternoon, everyone, and I think I don't have much to say. Only that I appreciate the opportunity given to all the participants, and I also appreciate the participants who made it through. So this is the only opportunity that empowers civic actors, including media practitioners, to enrich themselves with knowledge. Then they impact the society positively. So what I can say is let's dedicate ourselves to finish this training successful so that we also help our society. So there is nothing much I can say at this time, but let's continue and we be committed to the mission and objective of the training. So thank you very much. You guys can go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much, Ochaya. I see a question in the chat box. Will there be a certificate at the end of the training? A good question. Yes, I see a hand from Gabriel. Yes, Gabriel, you can ask your question.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bida. My question is concerning the physical training, because I'm from Western Barrel Gazal, wow, from Jureba County, but currently I'm based in Wow. I mean, I'm currently in Juba. So during the physical meeting, do I have to go to Wow, or it will be possible for me to attend the physical meeting within Juba here? That's the question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I get your question. And thank you very much for asking. Now, what is going to happen is this. If you are in Juba and then there's a physical training in Juba, I think you will attend the one in Juba. It's not going to be possible for you to attend the one in Wow. So you will attend the one in Juba. And then I see the question about the certificate. Yes, we're going to give you digital certificates. Like we will send you the certificate as a PDF document, and then it is upon you to print the certificate for yourself. But then we will not give hard copy certificate. We'll give a digital certificate to each and every one of you, and then after that, you can print out the certificate yourself. I think that answers your questions. Except any of you want to ask another question. Yes, Marco Nyoro. Yes, Marco, you can ask your question.
Thank you very much. I'm Mark Nyorabal from WOW of Jurunga County. Yeah.
Yes, please, Marco.
The question that I'm asking, yeah, I'm talking about concern about face-to-face meeting. There is no timetable about the face-to-face meeting. I don't know how many times are we supposed to conduct face-to-face meeting and in which place? Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. So I think we said that the dates will be communicated, and I did mention that they will possibly be from the middle of July, and there will only be one physical training, so you shouldn't expect more than one. So there will only be one physical training where we'll go through key topics from different aspects of the training, probably from gender, from disinformation, as well as from election reporting. So one session from mid-July. Thank you. Yes, David. David, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So my question is like this. Do you have a desktop copy of this training, of all these sessions, so that you can send to us, so that we can go through as the time goes by, at least for all of us to be together?
Yes, yes. So yeah, the soft copy of the materials will be shared through the Google Classroom. So you will, some of them will be shared as PDF, and some of them will be shared as links, and then you click on the links and you can either read online or you can download. So it's your choice later on.
Okay, thank you.
No worries, no worries. Yes, Port Panyuan.
Yes, I'm asking also about the physical training. Are you planning one physical meeting in Unity State here?
Which area are you in Unity State?
I'm in Rukona, in Bentiu.
No, we will not have a physical training in Bentiu. We will not have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
What about Lair?
Lair, yes, it will be there in Lair, I think. Yeah. Lair or Mayendit. One of the two is either Lair or Mayendit, one of the two. So we'll see which one has more participants, and then we'll go to the one that has more participants. Is that clear?
Very clear. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, good. So looks like there are no other questions. And yeah, so if there are no other questions, I'm going to, like I said, I would advise you to turn off your videos. I see videos of Paulino. You can turn off your video, Paulino, Marco, Abdul Rahim, and then I see Samsung SMA33, and then you can turn off your videos, please, so that you preserve your data, and then you wouldn't face a lot of internet challenges. Yeah, please turn off your videos. And then later on, if we want to take a screenshot, we can ask you to turn off your videos. So turn on your videos. Thank you all for the round of questions. I believe that I've been able to answer most of the questions that you've raised, and I wish you the best of luck throughout these training sessions. And I hand you over for the first session on introduction to this and misinformation. And the trainer is GB. You can follow it keenly, ask him any questions that you may have, and good luck. Good luck. Yes, GB.
Please make sure your mics are on mute, because you can hear some of you speaking from the background. Yeah, well, let's continue. I'm by the names GB Moses Daniel. I'm a fact checker and a trainer, and then currently I'm the associate coordinator for 211 Check. So today I'll be taking you in a topic of one of the topics of introduction to disinformation and misinformation. This is one of the core topics in this training, as one of the objectives is to make sure journalists you are able to spot misinformations and disinformations, and then learn how to fact check them or how to debunk them. These other processes will be in the other course units, but for this one, you need to know to differentiate to define what is a disinformation and identify it and then debunk it. So we have objectives why we have to learn this course, and we expect by the end of the training, you should be able to define misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda. Second objectives will be identify some common types, leave alone defining it, but you have to be able to give some examples from each of these. What is an example of misinformation, an example of disinformation, malinformation, and propaganda. You should be able also to differentiate all these three or four. Then you should be able to recognize some common sources of misinformation in South Sudan. Then you should be able to understand the impact of all this in our communities. Then counter and address misinformation and disinformation. As learners of this training, by the time it's done, you should be able to you should be having the skills to counter it in case you come across it in your communities. We are kind of So to begin with, we shall begin with the definitions, and we shall begin with the definition of fake news. Fake news is false or misleading information presented as news. Fake news often has the aim of damaging the reputation of a person or entity, or making money through advertising revenue. Although false news has been spread throughout history, the term fake news was first used in 1890s. So it is not something that has just come out of nowhere. It has been there since time immemorial. So when sensational reports in newspapers were so common, nevertheless, the term does not have a fixed definition, and it has been applied rapidly to any type of false information. It has also been used by high-profile people to apply to any news unfavorable to them. So this one means whoever is in a position or influential position, whatever any news that comes out, whether it is correct, but as long as it doesn't go well with that person, he'll automatically turn it into false news. So, however, in 2017, Waddell announced she has now rejected the phrase fake news and censors it in conversation, finding it woefully inadequate to describe the issues. She now speaks of information disorder and information pollution, and distinguishes between three overarching types of information content problems. This statement now means that fake news fake news has been removed or is not taken serious, but then it has been replaced by the information disorder and or information pollution. So these two, information disorder and information pollution, have been distinguished into three overarching types, of which one is misinformation, then disinformation, and malinformation. So before we define what the three are, let's first define what is information disorder. Information disorders is a term used to describe the spread of false or misleading information. It can be spread intentionally or unintentionally, and it can have a significant impact on society. There are many different types of information disorder, including misinformation. Misinformation is false or misleading information that is spread unintentionally. Like someone will spread wrong information or misleading information unknowingly, thinking it's right, it's the right information. For example, some of you may have ever been in WhatsApp group, then a scam or job scams is shared in that group. Then someone from nowhere will forward that thing to you, thinking he's sending you correct information, which is wrong. So that is a misinformation. And then there's disinformation. Disinformation is false or misleading information that is spread intentionally. So when someone knows that this information is wrong, but still goes ahead to share it, that one is disinformation. Then the third one is malinformation. Malinformation is true that is shared with malicious intent. Here we can say you may be friends, two people who are friends, and you know a lot of secrets among yourselves. But due to unknown factors, maybe you have a simple quarrel or disagreements, then somebody decides to use the information about you that he or she knows about you, then he spreads it or shares it with the public with the intent of making you feel bad. That is malinformation. Here we have some brief explanation about the differences between misinformation and disinformation. disinformation, when people intentionally create false or misleading information to make money, have political influence, or to maliciously cause trouble or harm. Then misinformation is when people share disinformation, but they don't realize it's false or misleading, often because they're trying to help or want to feel part of a community. So why do people share
No, sir.
disinformation? Why do people share disinformation? Some of the reasons are for money, political gain, to cause confusion, or to sow mistrust. Then some reasons why people share misinformation is out of fear and wanting to protect people they care about, or to connect with others who are sharing similar information. Someone will do it thinking they are doing it just to fit into the society, or if it's a job scam, somebody will think he wants to help a friend or a relative to apply for that job, unknowingly, yet is sharing misinformation. Yeah. Fourthly, we have propaganda. Propaganda is information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. It is a deliberate attempt to influence the opinions and behavior of others. Propaganda is often used to support a particular agenda or ideology. So propaganda can be used in a variety of ways, including like promote a particular political candidate or party. So as elections always come, people go out there to campaign and to sell their manifestos. So instead of some parties or some individuals, instead of campaigning peacefully or in the right way, they try to get some ideologies to decampaign the others through propaganda, so that people can join their party or can vote for their candidate. So that's one of the reasons why people popularize propaganda. Then another reason is it can be to support a particular military action. Third, to influence public opinion on a particular issue. Like if there is an issue that maybe the people in power wants everyone to like it, or some organizations or some group of individuals, they will make sure they get content and it is spread throughout either the country or even throughout the world, so that everyone think it's the correct information for you to consume. Then to create a sense of patriotism or nationalism. I think this one is self-explanatory. To demonize an enemy or an opponent. So that can also be another reason to make your enemy or your opponent look bad in the eyes of the public. Propaganda can be shared, among other ways, through newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and now the biggest one is the internet. Internet has a lot of ways through content is shared. Facebook is one of the commonest, WhatsApp groups, Twitter, TikTok, and many other sites. So in the internet, it spreads very fast, and some people believe everything that is shared on the internet, or even in the newspapers or the magazines, the radios and the TVs, they believe it's correct information. And then it could be very hard for a lot of population out there to differentiate that this one is propaganda or this one is the right information. Propaganda can be effective because it can appeal to people's emotions and biases. It can also be effective because it can be used to simplify complex issues and make them seem more black and white. Yeah, people who spread propaganda, they do enough research, and when they're writing, some write big grammar, as if you can borrow that word, and then they will be so convincing to make to the layman to believe that this not to believe that this is correct. You'll have, when you read through their messages, you'll be like, this is the real deal. So that's one of the tricks that people spreading propaganda they use. So it is important to be aware of propaganda so that you can be critical of the information you consume. Here are some tips for spotting propaganda. One, look for information that is one-sided or biased. Yes, this people spreading propaganda will always have a side, and as they write everything, they'll be praising the other or demonizing the side that they want to. So when you're reading, you have to make sure the information you're reading is not biased. You have to also understand the other side of the story. Then you look for information that is based on emotion rather than fact. Yeah, in most cases, people spreading propaganda, they act on emotion. They give very little facts, and if the facts are there, they are also biased. They are not free, or they are not free and fair. So you have to look for information that is used to promote a particular ideology or agenda. Yes, you also have to know why this person is writing, because in most cases, they will have a target of what they are writing on, which in their writing is to promote it. So if that's the agenda, then you should be aware and know this one is for, this is propaganda, or someone is just trying to promote their ideology at the cost of the others. You have to be aware of the source of the information. Is it a reputable source? Yeah, most times when you get this information, you have to dig deep and know the source of the information or the person writing the information. Yeah, here we have a table that summarizes the three information disorders. In this, we have misinformation, and the definition is false or misleading information that is spread unintentionally. The intent is unintentional. And we have disinformation. This is false or misleading information spread intentionally. The intent is intentional. And then finally, we have true information that is shared with malicious intent. Also, the intent is intentional. We have another graphical representation of mis, dis, and malinformation. Here they have, as you can see, it's a graph. We have misinformation, which is unintentional, and then mistakes, unintentional mistakes as inaccurate photo captions, dates, statistics, translation, or when satire is taken seriously. Then in the middle, we have disinformation. Then at the end, we have malinformation. This one means misinformation and malinformation are completely different or completely opposite. But disinformation has some element of misinformation and then has an element of malinformation. Someone is... Angelina, please. Are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. I've really been struggling to.
Okay. We shall have time. We shall have time at the end of or when it's during questions. For now, let's first continue with the lesson. So far, is there anyone with a question or someone wants to ask something before we continue to the types?
I think we can continue. Maybe we can ask some questions later.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So we have types of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. All these, generally, we can say types of information disorders. First one is false context. This is when genuine context is shared with the false contextual information. So secondly, we have satire or parody. Someone's no intention to harm, but has potential to fool. Someone can share an information that is himself or herself knows that this one is not correct, but then it's just funny. Yes, please.
Moses.
Yes, please.
Other people are complaining that they're not seeing your slides, but try to find out whoever is not seeing should confirm.
Oh, okay. That one is in the
chat box here. They're complaining that they're not seeing your slides.
Okay, but do you see it? Like for you, Jackson?
Yes, I'm seeing. Deborah course says
like
the slide is
how many
empty.
people are not seeing?
I think this is very clear.
This slide is clear. It doesn't require anything. Maybe you have network problem.
Okay.
From my side, I'm only seeing the introduction session, just the first page, not moving.
Wow, then that should be. But you're hearing?
I think you're interrupted by the network. The slides have been seen.
Yeah, I think that should be personal network in your location.
Yeah, I was one of the people that were complaining that was not seeing the slides before, as Ushai has mentioned. But right now, I can see the slides very clear. Now, I would like to suggest to people that are not seeing the slides, you can maybe click on just get off the screen for a while. Maybe you check the participants, click on the participants, or click on the chat. Then you get back. I believe everything will be fine. You'll see the slides.
Maybe you can continue. It's clear now to everybody.
Okay, we were at the examples of disinformation. Another example is manipulated content. This is when genuine information or images is manipulated to deceive. For example, when a correct picture or someone's picture is distorted, or using these days using deep fake, someone can fix another person's voice in a different video, and then they claim you are the one. So, or changing a picture, they remove parts of somebody and they fix another one. So when this information goes out, that's already a disinformation order, and which is not good. Another one is misleading content. This is use of information to frame an issue or an individual. We have fabricated content that is 100% false, designed to deceive and or do harm. Then we have sponsored content, advertising or public relations disguised as editorial content. Some of these examples are scams. So these people, they post content which has viruses or malwares. So when you consume, you'll be exposing yourself to malware. So this is also another misinformation disorder. Then we have imposter content, when genuine sources are impersonated. Yeah, for example, someone somewhere will decide to open a page using or Facebook account using my names. So the people consuming information will think they are following me or they are getting content from me, which is not the right thing. So whatever content that person consumes, whether it's right or wrong, everyone will attribute it to me, and then yet I'm not the one who was published or who is owning that page in the first place. So that's also a misinformation information disorder. Then we have propaganda. Propaganda, we have already talked about it above. When the content is used to manage attitudes, values, and knowledge. Then we have error. This one, when established news organizations make mistakes while reporting. I think this one is common, especially in our country, but yeah, most time it's corrected. So we continue. Common sources of mis or disinformation. One of the main source or main common source of mis or disinformation plus malinformation is social media. Social media channels like Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, I mentioned them, there are many, Twitter and Instagram. They spread a lot of misinformation. And this is possible because the channels allows the users to share content very easily with a very large audience within the shortest time possible. Another related one is online news websites. These ones, like in our country, we have many of them, and most of them are specializing in publishing false news or misinformation, while others do it due to poor research and fact-checking before publishing, but there are those who do it intentionally. Then we have emails. Misinformation is also spread through emails. This is done through chain emails, which are shared with an aim of passing a particular message. We have text messages. This one is also misinformation is also shared through text messages, and this is mainly done through group messages sent at once to many people, like the chain emails. Then another one which is also common is word of mouth, and this one is cheap, or someone will just decide after hearing something, then tells the next and the next. This is supported by the social cohesion and belief that people share among themselves. We believe easily anything we hear from someone we know. So, for example, friends, and I tell you anything, you'll be like, yeah, this is correct. So, as we go, we should have some tips, or we should be having some ways on how to spot disinformation. One of the tips is check the source. Whatever you see online, that most sources would be writing hot news or breaking news. So when you get that, you don't just go to believe and share immediately. For example, yesterday in the evening, there was a decree which was passed, and then the former mayor was relieved of his duties, and they got a caretaker mayor. So when you see that news, you don't just have to share it with anybody. I first saw it on the fact checkers group, but the positive thing is that everybody was asking, is this true? Is this true? So you have to be skeptical of every news. So when you get this, then first of all you check who shared it, and then if it's a reliable source or someone who you think has access to the right information, that's when you can start to believe. But as such, still you don't have to believe immediately. You have to look for other factors. Secondly, then you have to look for evidence. Yeah, always look for evidence to defend the claim. Does it even come with any evidence? If not, it's probably false. Then another tip is being skeptical of sensational headlines. Some headlines are too good to be true or made catchy with the intention of making news. Then another one is you have to do your research. Always do independent research. There are sources to get correct information. Much as there's misinformation or disinformation in the internet, still that's where we go and we look for that's where we go and look for correct information, because it depends on what you're looking for and where you're looking it for, where you're looking it from from the internet. So if you go to the wrong sources, they will give you obviously the wrong answers. But then if you see something that is skeptical or you don't trust, you go to the internet and use different sources to look for the correct sources or the correct information. You can also go to colleagues, consult with the colleagues that you think can help you. Then the best thing is professions in the particular field. For example, if the information is about health, you don't need to go to someone who is not a doctor or who doesn't have enough information or skills in the medical field. So you go according to where the information directs you. Continue, we check for coordinated activities. This is mainly some misinformation is spread, for example, on Twitter or even on Facebook. They can be through bots. So these bots, these are computers or computer generated or AI generated. So they'll spread the same information almost in the same time, but well spread. So when you go to check, you'll find it from different sources, and then you'll believe, you'll think that this one is correct information. But if you can spot that these are bots, then you will know this is misinformation. So don't share, forward, or comment on mis or disinformation. This increases on its visibility. Yes, if you've known that this is wrong, this is a misinformation, the best thing is, after you've done all the above, don't continue sharing it again, or even forwarding it to your friends or commenting on it, because when you do that, you'll be increasing the number of people that will be seeing it. Instead of ending with you, you'll be continuing to spread it. So you'll be spreading misinformation. Ways of combating spread of mis and disinformation. One way is through critical thinking. They teach people how to think critically about the information they encounter. This means being able to evaluate the sources of information, identify bias, and assess the evidence. Yeah, this one, you don't have to take anything at face value. You really need to question whatever you see. And then you have to use your personal judgment and see this one is right or this one is wrong. Another one is media literacy, like what we are doing right now, sharing information with you. And when you get this information, it shouldn't end with you also. You have to go out there and share with your population, the people that you come into contact with, either through either online or even physically. And another way is through fact-checking. Fact-checking is an essential tool for combating misinformation. There are a number of fact-checking websites and organizations that can help you verify the accuracy of information. It's unfortunate in South Sudan, we only have one fact-checking house, which is 211 Check, but it is doing a lot of work in combating disinformation. So when you find something that you are not so sure of and you feel you cannot fact check, it's good you can contact 211 Check or the group, the fact checkers group. They can be of help to you. We also have Pesa Check. This one is in Kenya. We have Africa Check and Code for Africa. But still, you should be aware of, you should be careful of fake fact checkers. Some claim to be fact checkers with the intention of spreading misinformation. So when you're trying to look for correct information and you fall on a false fact checker, then you and that fake fact checker, you will continue spreading the fake news. So you should be very careful as you contact your sources. Then social media platforms, for example, Facebook, have a responsibility to combat the spread of misinformation. They can do this by spreading false content, labeling misleading content, and educating users about how to spot misinformation. Facebook has a program whereby when an organization which is a partner to it checks a misinformation and it is published, it flags it that it is false and it reduces on the number of exposure. So as social media platforms, other social media platforms should also copy the same, and they do such so that they can reduce on the spread of misinformation, since most of the misinformation is shared through their platforms. Then another way is the government. The governments can also play a big role in combating misinformation. They can do this by funding fact-checking organizations, by passing laws that make it illegal to spread misinformation and educating the public about the dangers of misinformation. Currently, we have the Internet Misuse Act. So this one criminalizes whoever attacks or abuse or shares information about someone online. So such laws should be put in place and they should be implemented, and people should be made aware that these laws are there and it's not good to spread misinformation online. We continue to disinformers. So who are the disinformers? A disinformer is someone who gives disinformation to others. Disinformation is false information that is spread intentionally to deceive people. Disinformers most times uses some of these ways. Repetition. Here they post same misinformation repeatedly and consistently. And in the process, many people will fall for it. Yeah, when someone has an intention of selling his disinformation, he'll make sure he doesn't give up. He posts it today, posts it tomorrow, posts it the next other day. So as you keep on reading, you'll be like, oh, this must be correct information. Or it will reach a lot of people, and as it goes, it becomes a popular idea or popular information. And another one is coordinated activities. These informers here decide to post similar information from different locations and sometimes different medias, yet with the same intention. Yeah, this one goes to what we said about the bots. They coordinate and they share the disinformation among themselves. Then they can decide to share it on Facebook They decide to share it on Twitter and then even on WhatsApp. So as you see it in different sources, you'll be like, you believe that this one is correct, but then which is false information. We already have bots. We've already talked about bots. Yeah, a bot is a software application that is programmed to do certain tasks. Bots are normally used to automate certain tasks, meaning they can run without specific instructions from human beings. Bots can interact with websites, chat with site visitors, and scan through content. So these informers create a lot of bots and program them to share specific information. Yeah, if you've been in some of Telegram groups, like when you join, you'll be welcomed by a bot, and sometimes you not know that this is a bot. You think that is a human being that has welcomed you, and that bot is automated or instructed to do only welcoming jobs. They will not reply. So when it welcomes you and you appreciate, that will be the end of the conversation. Some will think that these bots will continue to talk. So there are other bots which are automated to share disinformation. So when that time comes, they will keep on sharing at that specific times and in those platforms. Another way is confirmation bias. This is a type of cognitive bias that involves favoring information that confirms your previous existing beliefs or biases. People display this bias when they select information that supports their views, ignoring contrary ones, or when they interpret ambiguous evidence as supporting their existing attitudes. For example, the West always spreads Russia as someone who is bad or something which is bad. So you grow up knowing Russia is not bad. Russia is this, Russia is that. But then, so when they spread any information about, any misinformation about Russia, you will have no question. You just believe that this is true. Russia is not good, or Al Qaeda, or other. But if such information is spread, what you have to know is you have to find out and leave alone your biases that you have aside and confirm. I've just used Russia and Al Qaeda as an example, but that doesn't end there. Even in our communities, we have those biases already with us. So any information shared among us, we really need to not to confirm before we are very sure about that. So why is information disorder? Why do people share misinformation? Information disorder has the potential to polarize public opinion, to promote violent extremism and hate speech, and ultimately to undermine democracies and reduce trust in the democratic processes. It is motivated by three distinct factors. One of the reasons why these informers share this information is to make money. People share this because they want to make money. Then others, they want to have political influence. Then others, to cause trouble for the sake of just it. Like these days, most people say, we don't want peace, they want problems. So you keep sharing just because you don't want peace. Much as it may sound funny, but the impact at the end of the day goes beyond what is expected. So other factors include the rush to break news. Some people want to be the first to break the news. They want to be known to be like working, but then during the process they don't confirm, or during the process they make mistakes. So when the news is already out there and it turns out to be false, you've already damaged your reputation. So before, much as you want to rush to break the news, before you do that, you really need to make sure you've confirmed with all the sources. Others is religious and individual beliefs. So, for example, when COVID came, there were a lot of misinformation spread along that line. Somebody will wake up, then tell you our religion says this and this about COVID. COVID was, others said it was even prophesied in the Bible. So, and then you go to the church, start telling your congregation that this is the end of the world and COVID is one of the signs of this. So it's because of people are religious and others individual beliefs. Then limited access to information. Some people share information because some people share misinformation and people consume misinformation because they don't have access to the correct information. And whichever information that comes, they will believe and take it to be the truth. Then there's internet blockades. In some other countries, especially during election periods, they usually put off the internet. For example, in Uganda, up to today, Facebook is down. So for you to access it, you have to use VPN. This one came during the campaigns and then it remained up to today. I don't know until when, but I think Ugandans, they're not bothered because they're using the VPNs to access the internet or the Facebook particularly. The other sites, other things are working on the internet, but Facebook particularly is down. So in case there is this internet blockade and then you have no access to information, whoever has access to other sources will spread fake information. Since you don't have the correct one, you'll be made to believe. And most times this one will cause panic and chaos in our societies. Then misguided intentions. They wish to be helpful. Yeah, here some people share misinformation, thinking they are helping, but then themselves, they don't know that what they're sharing is false or is fake. Then sometimes high-speed internet fuels disinfodemics, because one will sit somewhere and shares anything on the internet, then it runs very fast to a lot of people across the globe. So the access, much as internet blockade is bad, also high-speed internet, if it is not well used, it can also be another source of fast spreading misinformation. Additionally, we have some ways of combating misinformation. Additional tips. Some additional tips for minimizing the spread of mis or disinformation. You be skeptical of any information shared on social media. You don't have to believe everything without being sure or making sure that it's true. Then you have to be aware of your own biases. We have already talked about this. We all have biases, and this can sometimes lead to us to believe information that is not true. So you have to be aware of your own biases and try to be objective when evaluating information. Yeah, another one is don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're not sure about anything, don't hesitate to ask questions. There are a number of resources available also to help you verify misinformation. Then another solution is also be part of the solution. We all have a role to play in combating misinformation. If you see something that you think is false, don't just ignore it. Share it with others and let them know that it is not true. Yeah, when you're sharing you have to, when you know that this is true, you have to share it with caution and letting your people that are going to have access to it know from the beginning that this one is fake, or this one is false, or this is misinformation. Some people share without alerting the people, and then someone will be like, oh, this person has shared this is correct. So you have to be part of the solution. You don't have just to share because you have to share. You have to share with caution. Yeah, so looking all this, we have to see the impact or the effects of fake news in our communities. What are fake news capable of doing, or which damage are they capable of causing in our communities? One of the impact of fake news is it harms international relations. Governments changing stances due to misinformation. So, for example, when two neighboring countries have been staying in peace, and then someone spreads misinformation about the other government or the next government, this one will cause tension, and this one affects the international relations. It also causes physical harm, medical harm, physical violence, and conflicts. So misinformation or fake news can make people fight, either physically, like one-on-one, or even communities raising against the other. So something which could have been avoided if the fake news have not been spread. Distorts political system, like political smears. This one is mainly on propaganda and perhaps malinformation. So this one disorganizes political systems. Fake news also cause harm to mental health, anxiety to acute stress. So when someone spreads false news about you, obviously you'll be affected, either even if it's you individually or your community or even your country. It will have an impact on you, on your mental health specifically. Harm to fairness and social cohesions, strengthening beliefs in stereotypes. You know, when one community spreads misinformation against the other, this one strengthens beliefs in stereotypes. So the other one will also try to look for what they can say about this one. So this one harms fairness in social cohesion. Then this fake news also distorts justice system. Misinformation, for example, misinformation related to court cases. This one can disorganize a court case. So someone who is maybe someone who is guilty, but when they bring misinformation against him, it will disorganize the case proceedings. Perhaps someone will be in prison for what he has not done. It causes harm to businesses and economic development. Individual company, this one begins from individual companies to even economic policies in countries. So another one is harm to the environment, undermining policy on climate change, wildlife, or environmental protection. For example, when the government comes out with a policy that there is a climate change, degrees are going high, people should do this, should plant trees, or should not weather, or should not throw garbage anyhow, or they not use polythene bags. But when a group comes out, maybe a group that is promoting their product, for example, the pills, they will come out and start spreading misinformation that, this government is not good, there's no climate change, there's no this. They do all this because they want their products to be sold. And in the long run, climate change is real. It will affect all of us. So that's a way misinformation can harm the environment. Another one is financial practical harm. This one is financial losses. Yeah, someone can come and deceive you, or for example, scams. They say there are jobs here, you apply for these jobs. As you apply, they ask for money, and then you pay. And when most times when you reach that stage of paying, after paying, these people will go silent. That's when communication will end, and that's when you realize that you've been scammed or you've been conned. So that is a financial loss already. Yeah. We are almost coming to the end of this, but there is an element of fact checking that I brought as misinformation and disinformation. You have to have the basics of fact checking. So in the whole training, is going to take you through in the fact checking, the processes, the tools, and the rest. But I'll just make a small introduction here. Fact checking is the process of verifying the accuracy of and truthfulness of information, claims, or statements made in various forms of media, including news articles, social media posts, speeches, and advertisements. It involves researching and analyzing evidence to determine whether a claim is true, false, or somewhere in between. Yeah, the goal of fact-checking is to provide the accurate and reliable information to the public so that people can make informed decisions based on facts, based on facts rather than misinformation or propaganda. Fact-checkers can be journalists, researchers, or even just ordinary people who are interested in fact-checking. So this one is, the goal of fact-checking is to provide the accurate and reliable information to the public so that the people can make informed decisions based on facts rather than misinformation or propaganda. I think that point is very clear. So after identifying a misinformation or disinformation or even a malinformation or even a propaganda, then you fact check it. The reason that's why you're fact checking, you have to put back in your mind that you have to provide accurate and reliable information to the public. So as you fact check, you have to look for evidences. As you're fact checking, you have to give references. You have to provide your references. Most journalists or some journalists, when they're reporting, they say from reliable sources. But then in fact checking, we don't use that word reliable sources because you need to mention that source. And as you're looking for your sources, when your source doesn't want to be mentioned in your fact check, unless when you have other enough sources that you can mention, that's when you can use his evidence. But if he's the only one and he's not willing to be mentioned, then it's not necessary to use him or even to continue with that fact check. Because at the end of the day, people may need to come and verify with you, and then you have no reference. That person may, since you did not use his name or you did not quote anything, reference him anywhere, they will deny and they say I didn't give this information, and then at the end of the day, your credibility will be gone because you are the one who has published the fact check. And fact checkers can be journalists, researchers, or even ordinary people who are interested in verifying information. Anyone can be a fact checker as long as you get the skills and the interest in verifying the information. So that's what I prepared for you for today. So still have like some 16 to 15 minutes. This time for questions, or if there's anything that you have not understood, you're free. This is the time. Okay, I'll begin with Gabriel. Gabriel Orayo.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. GB. Actually, I raised my hand. Are you getting me loud and clear?
Yes, I can get you.
Yeah, that's great. I raised my hand before. It was a couple of minutes back. I simply wanted to clarify about the slides, because I was one of the people that were complaining about the slides being not, very clear, as my colleague Ochaya mentioned before. So I don't have any question, but that was the reason why I raised my hand before. So I'm actually just going to say thank you so very much for this wonderful moment you had with us, and I'm hopeful that as we continue, it will be a very
Mr.
great
Gabriel,
moment
can
for
you be
us to
loud? Can
learn
you be
from
loud?
ourselves.
I'm not hearing you.
Okay. Thank you. I think it's just I'm using the mic. Earphones. That might be the reason I'm speaking. You can be hearing me a little bit like speaking slow, but I'm actually loud. How is it right now? Are you getting me loud?
Yeah, you're okay now.
That is great.
Yeah,
So
perfect. Can
I'm
go to
just
you.
having a word, of appreciation. I appreciate the session, and thank you so very much, Mr. Moderator, GB. Thank you.
You're most welcome. We hope to continue interacting.
A pleasure is mine.
Hello, are you getting me?
We are not getting anything at all. The speaker is off.